Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am joined by my very good friend Callum. How are we doing today?
I'm all the better for speaking about MMA with you, my bro. How are you?
I am doing well. Things in the MMA world are looking up.
They are.
Some great fights being booked, potential fights being booked on the horizon. This show's a little bit different. We're just gonna sift through the MMA news that is sort of happening recently. Some good fights have been confirmed. Some venues have been confirmed for future events, and some fighters getting up to some things on social media that we think that we may need to discuss about. But before we start that, make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure to subscribe to the Sanderson Show for great MMA watch-alongs, and we'll be live there next weekend for UFC 287, Izzy versus Pereira 2, and on the co-main event, it'll be Gilbert Burns versus Jorge Masvidal in Miami. Will Masvidal get Derek Lewis? Well, tune in to find out.
Tune in to find out.
Tune in to find out. So let's touch on the big thing that sort of, I wouldn't say breaking, but it's happened over the past couple of days. It is Paddy, the Paddy, obviously had that very controversial win over Jarrod Gordon back end of the year, destroyed his ankle. He's just had surgery, and he's coming out talking about Jarrod Gordon. I don't know if not you've seen it at all, Callum. What your initial reactions on it?
I feel like Paddy's. How do I explain it? Like when Paddy came, Paddy's not really changed, but I don't feel like he's reading the room at the moment. Like the Ariel Helwani stuff that just, as someone who covers MMA, it didn't sit right with me, especially how he handled it, and then obviously he's there chumming with Dana, and like that just didn't sit well with me. And then he had the fight. In my opinion, he lost the fight. And he's doubled down saying he won the fight. But if you're saying you won the fight, you don't usually double down and then say, I want to fight this guy again, because you got nothing to prove if in your mind you won the fight. Like Sanhagen isn't sitting there going split decision against Cheeto. No, I want to run that back, so I want to show everyone it wasn't a split decision. We all saw
scorecards.
Yeah,
tells you scorecards.
Exactly. Yeah, but we saw Sanhagen won that fight clearly 4-1 or 5-0. We know Paddy lost that fight in theory. We do know that, but he got the decision. Me personally, if I was Paddy, the way I'd have handled it, it would have been one of two ways. Either you say, Jarrod, you know what? I think I got the rub of the green there. It could have gone either way. It came to me. Let's run it back. Or it could have been, you know what? I think I won the fight. I'm going to move on. But Jarrod gave me a tougher fight than I thought. But how he's handled it all, like, it's not been great to see from the outside looking in. Look, when Paddy came through, everyone loved him. He's a Liverpool fan as well, just like us. We're like, yeah, this is our guy. We're rooting for him now. But it's like he's making it hard to get behind him, root for him because of his actions outside the cage at the moment. Like, you've just had surgery. Like, the last thing you should be doing is having a rant on camera about some other fighter who, in your opinion, is not even in your league. And again, I don't know if the people around him are advising him and telling him, look, don't do this, and he's not listening, or they're not even saying anything. But from the outside looking in, that's not a good look from Paddy. Here's the thing, though. I think if they rematch, I think he wins the rematch, simply because I think he makes the adjustments, and I don't think Jarrod Gordon is far ahead of him as a fighter. I think they're probably on par.
Gordon, Bobby Green coming up.
Bobby Green, and even with all due respect to Jarrod Gordon, I don't think he comes through that Bobby Green fight. I don't think he beats Bobby Green, which potentially sets up a Bobby Green and Paddy fight, which again I wouldn't like for Paddy personally. But I just think Paddy's handling it wrong, and I think he just needs to get back to focusing on himself and being that witty, fun character, because at the moment he just comes across as really bitter, angry, and just almost wanting to go out of his way to prove his toughness when he's a UFC fighter. He doesn't need to prove toughness.
I think my thing with it, first of all, he had his ankle injury back in November. Why is it taking till March for him to get surgery?
Yeah.
That's a big red.
Well, Jarrod Gordon came out and said he too had an ankle injury that was
Yeah.
documented by the UFC as well. So
I'm a little bit surprised why it's taken till March for him to get surgery, but I'm not a medical expert, so I wouldn't know why that surgery's been put back. Yeah, with the post fight, he should have done the Sean O'Malley thing against Piotr Jan, which I thought Piotr Jan beat Sean O'Malley, but the way he handled it was humble, saying,
yeah,
I'm not quite sure I won that one. I need to look away, watch the tape, see what happens.
yeah.
And I do agree, he's coming across as very bitter, like we don't believe the talent that's there. And there is talent there. He's a high-level jiu-jitsu practitioner. He is elite on the ground. But the rest of his game, for me, it's not up to that. It's not up to championship level where he believes that he should be. And at the moment, it's not even top 15 level ready. And for someone that is in his physical prime,
Yeah.
I think it's very, very concerning because it's not like he's a young pup that's just walked in, had a blistering start to his UFC career.
Not
And then,
Makaya, basically.
yeah. And then to hit a roadblock, and then you go, okay, let's see how he handles this. He's 27, so I'm expecting all the big holes that we've seen in his game to be tightened up. And for me, I don't know what he's doing in camp. Well, I think I know what he's doing in camp. His camp's losing weight. That's for me, that's his whole purpose of that 12-week training camp. It's not to improve on his technique. It's not to improve on the game plan. It's to make sure he makes weight. Because outside the octagon, he's very unprofessional. And to be at the elite end of this game, professionalism has to be at the forefront. Especially if you want to be a champion, you need to be professional. And for me, like he wants to be a big social media personality star. Which, yes, he's got the charisma, he's got everything, got the big contract with Barstool. But come on, you need to start, going through the gears a little bit if you want to be at that level. And sooner or later, he's gonna say something that his fighting ability, like he's gonna write a check that his fighting ability ain't gonna cash for him.
Yeah.
And that's the fine line that he's treading at the moment. And yeah, rematching the Jarrod Gordon fight, it's going to be 50-50, even if that fight even happens. And
I don't think it will happen.
Even if it's like a Bobby Green, because I think Bobby Green will beat Jarrod Gordon when they fight soon. But Bobby Green, he's got power, he's got hands. Look what he did to Drew Dober before Drew Dober put him to sleep.
Piecing Drew up, yeah.
Piecing him up. And what my biggest criticism of Paddy, like his boxing defense, very open, very chinny. Yeah. And when you hang your chin out in the UFC, and especially in one of the killers divisions like lightweight is, you go night.
Yeah.
And he's going to go night soon. And as a Brit, I don't want to see that as a Brit. I want our Brits at the top of the game. But when you're not improving the fundamentals, you're going to get stuff that potentially happen. And for me, I think he's going to be back end of the year. So I imagine he'll be back similar times when he fought last year. So he'll be out a year.
I don't know if he'll be out a year.
He's just had the surgery now. Like he's literally just come out of surgery. I don't know how long is his recovery process going to be. It was mentioned last year that he will be out for about a year. So
I reckon about 7 months.
7 months, but it takes him to October.
Yeah.
October,
I don't think it'll
November.
be a full year. Depending on how serious the ankle. But I presume if it couldn't have been as serious as we're thinking if he was able to fight on it.
Yeah. Hopefully he's not too serious, but he's definitely not going to make UFC London in July.
No.
If he makes
a miracle if he does,
then he's seriously risking himself in causing himself injury. So
yeah, it'd be unwise.
Don't see that happening. Who do you see Paddy fighting when he comes back? Do you think it will be Bobby Green or Jarrod Gordon, or do you think Dana's going to go, no, you are moving away from this. We are not having this situation again?
I don't think he fights Jarrod Gordon because I don't think Jarrod Gordon beats Bobby Green. However, Bobby Green's someone who likes to remain active. I don't see Bobby Green waiting around for Paddy to come back.
Just have a look at the rankings.
Yeah, I think he fights someone outside the top 25, if I'm going to be honest. That top 15 is full of killers, bro. Like, I don't even think Bobby Green is in the top 15 at the moment, is he?
No, Drew Dober's ranked at number 11 or 12.
He's not fighting Drew Dober. That would be...
No, Drew Dober's fighting Frivola. So Paddy is ranked number 22.
He's ranked number 22.
This hasn't been updated yet. So...
who's ranked between 15 and 21, please, bro?
Says Joe... Okay, so this hasn't been updated, so it says Drew Dober still 19. So I'll ignore Drew Dober. Joe Alvarez, Thiago Moises, Guto Dilazzi, Brad Riddell, who's taking a long time off, so don't expect that fight. Bobby Green, Mark Masden. Then just underneath is Vink Pichel, Alexander Hernandez, Draco Closer. Yeah.
I think Mark Masden might be a good fight.
Another wrestler.
Yeah.
Another wrestler heavy. Could definitely see it, but I think... No, Brad Riddell says he's taking a long time off, back end of the year. I'm going to go Brad Riddell.
I don't think the UFC offer him that fight. Brad Riddell's on a bit of a losing streak as well, so if Paddy goes out there and beats him, he kind of gets no stock from that. Yeah, I think Mark Masden, makes sense because you're not thinking of going in there against a striker who could just shut your lights off. Wrestling would probably play into Paddy's hands because he's a good wrestler and he's a very good grappler, so he could potentially catch him with something. I think that might be the fight.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. But everyone in the comments, leave your comments in the comments below to see who you think Paddy will be fighting next. Other fights that have been booked for this year, we've got Ilia Topuria fighting Josh Emmett. I think this is a great bout. This is a great fight. Josh Emmett's just coming off his interim title fight against Yair Rodriguez, where he lost via submission. And Ilia Topuria is coming off a great win against Bryce Mitchell. Callum, what do you think of this matchup? Do you think a win for either guy pushes them back into title talk, or do you think this could be Topuria's breakout moment to say to the top 5 that I'm here?
Unfortunately for Emmett, I don't think a win gets him back in title contention yet. For Topuria, because he's fresh to the division and fresh in the title picture, I think he'd be one of the first names the UFC would start to look at and think, maybe we can get behind him. He will have a lot of fans from Spain, the European base there. He's an excellent fighter. On the ground, he's excellent. Standing, his striking is excellent.
He's got hands.
He's got hands. And he don't really fight in boring fights. He can take a punch as well. We've seen him against Jai Herbert, who was getting punched about and then just came out with a phenomenal
upper division as well.
Upper division as well. I think this is a really good fight for Topuria because Josh Emmett is no joke. His wrestling's good, and we see he's got one hit quitters as well. I think this is a good litmus test for Topuria to see whether he's ready for that next step. Like Bryce Mitchell, again, I'm a big fan. He's not elite in that division. Josh Emmett, for me, is that gateway from going from very good to I can become elite in this division.
If you beat Josh Emmett, you're sort of there and thereabouts, just hovering outside the top 5. Yeah. Josh Emmett's ranked number 7. Topuria's ranked number 8. So
Josh Emmett gone down to number 7.
Down for number 7, yeah.
Wow. I think that's a bit harsh on him, isn't it?
I think, just a little bit. Yeah, I do think that's a bit harsh, but I think...
Oh, no, I've got him on number 5 on mine, bro. Calvin Kate is number 7.
I think on the poster I saw, it was like him 7, Topuria 8. But some of the websites and some of the rankings, they just switch.
Yeah. I'm on the UFC website. It's Cater at 7. So Emmett's ranked number 5 and Topuria is ranked number 8. No, he's ranked number 9.
Ooh.
So if we were to beat Emmett, you're looking, he takes Emmett's spot, and then You've got Volk champion Yair first as interim, Max at 2. Ortega, I'm surprised is still at number 3.
I saw
And then Arnold Allen.
Before that fight was booked, Tapora said that he wanted like Ortega, and Ortega was like, "Hey, I'll humble him if I have to." I'm thinking, okay, maybe.
When is Ortega close to being back though?
There's no like confirmed date when he's back, so I'll be interested to see what happens personally. Like if he's back anytime soon, then I'd like to see him maybe face the winner of. Well, the thing is, if the winner of Max versus Holloway, but Max versus Allen, but if Max Holloway wins, does anyone want to see a rematch between Ortega and Max Holloway? Probably not.
Nah.
So he's sort of in a tricky situation because personally, I'd want to see him run it back with Yair Rodriguez, but he's got a title fight in July, so I don't know where that sort of leaves him. He's sort of going, I need a dance partner.
Who's that, Max?
No, Ortega.
Ortega, I don't think Ortega has to fight one of the top 5 because he's got a good ranking. I'll be honest, if Topuria comes through against Emmett and Arnold Allen comes through against Max, I want to see those two fight for the winner of Volk and Yair.
Oh yeah, hey.
That's the like Arnold Allen versus Topuria. If they both come through their fights and win, that's the fight to make, in my opinion. And then Max will have a different conversation about, but
Max, I think, like just touching on that one. If Max loses, he needs to go up to lightweight.
I just want to see him in fun fights. I think he's earned that now. Just do fun fights.
Yeah,
catchweight fights whatever he wants.
But I don't think fun fights for him lie at 145.
No, anymore. The weight cut as well.
I think he needs to go up to 55.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't even mind seeing Max do catchweight fights, 150 with a 55er potentially, or
well, he's a massive guy, walked around 190. But I know you'd never say, oh, maybe he could jump up to welterweight and you can have some bangers up there, but
no, I don't think he's ready for 155. I'd love to see him in a fight at 155.
I think on that one as well, I think it's gonna be so interesting the way the whole featherweight division's shaping up at the moment. Volk's going to be fighting in July. You've got Max versus Arnold Allen in April. You've got Topuria versus Emmett in June. So that division's slowly cooking again. And
sorry to cut you again, bro. When do you say Volk and Yair is that July?
July. That's on the same card as Stipe versus Jones.
So that's perfect. The timelines are kind of syncing up already.
Yeah, so I do believe that the timelines are syncing perfectly, and when everything falls into place for a division, and you can see a clear timeline of who your challengers and contenders are going to be,
beautiful.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
And speaking of perfect, it was confirmed on Michael Bisping's podcast that the UFC is coming back to London, baby.
Yes,
coming back to the O2, July 22nd. Hopefully, we may be able to turn up. Maybe.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
And toes.
Hey, crossing everything. I hope that would be there to cover the event. But the fact that the UFC are coming back after the Edwards Usman trilogy, I think is big for UK in general. But there's definitely options for who's going to headline the card. I thought this would be a fun little, game to play. Me and Callum, we're just gonna matchmake to see what we think the card, our perfect card would be. So let's start at the top. Callum, you got a main event in mind that you want to see?
All right, Leon's got a main event, so I'm going with Edwards versus Colby / Masvidal.
Depending on the outcome for Gilbert versus...
If Masvidal pulls off the win, Masvidal gets that fight. I know what Dana said. I know what he said about Colby. Masvidal gets that fight.
Mm.
So I'm gonna go Edwards versus Colby or Masvidal.
I think for the main event, for me, so I've got two trains of thought. I've got the train of thought like yourself, Leon Edwards, Colby, headlining in the O2, boo Colby out of the building. But the way Colby was chatting, said he fancied being on the card as a certain his old buddy John Jones and making that International Fight Week card a triple championship header, which I'm thinking Dana could pull it.
I don't think they will.
It's been a while. I think, has there been a triple champion card this year?
Yeah, but what the thing is with a triple card, you'll usually have one of the women's belts on. So I think he'll do and I think he'll do Grasso versus Valentina 2, Volk Yair and Stipe Jones.
Yes, that's a shout. That's a shout. I completely forgot about that rematch for the flyweight title.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably agree with you that we're gonna see Leon Edwards versus either Colby Covington or Jorge Masvidal, should Masvidal beat Gilbert Burns. So I think our main events are pretty much aligned, and I have a feeling our co-mains may be the same as well.
All right. I've got Tom Aspinall.
Yep.
Versus. All right, so he's just coming back.
I think he's pretty much dropped to who he wants his opponent to be.
Are we doing? Could we do Tai Tuivasa, Cyril Gane?
No.
Cyril Gane, a European fight? Saying that if they go back to France, they'll want Cyril Gane to headline that.
Yeah.
Tai Tuivasa's. You wouldn't do Tai Tuivasa. You're going to go straight for Pavlovich or Blades?
No. So you know how I think he's already mentioned the opponent, it's Marvin Tabura.
Oh yes.
A step down. Okay, that's very disingenuous to say step down. Lower down the rankings.
Yeah.
To shake off the octagon rust. Something that we not criticized about the Casey O'Neill Jennifer Maia fight, but had that feeling maybe she should have taken someone a step down just to shake off the octagon rust before jumping up. And I think for me, Tom Aspinall has already set his sights on hunting John Jones.
Yeah.
And for that, he needs to shake off the octagon rust. Then we can start climbing up the rankings. Because John Jones is only going to be here for a short amount of time. So he needs to make sure that from now until he can get a title shot, it's got to be the right fights at the right time. And Marvin Tabura is the right fight.
Yeah,
for him.
Completely agree.
So who would you have Tom Aspinall fight? So this is your perfect card.
Tai Tuivasa.
Could you imagine Ty's walkouts, some with the shoeies and everything?
Yeah, I think Tai Tuivasa. Tom doesn't really have to fear for a takedown in that fight. He knows what Ty's coming to do. Ty lands heavy leg kicks as well. So if you want to test out the leg, that's the perfect way to do it. We've seen Ty in there with Cyril Gane, who a lot of people compare to Tom Aspinall. And we saw how that fight went and how entertaining it was. If Tom can go out there and make it as entertaining, but make it more dominant, puts him in the conversation as the next man up for John Jones if he's still the champion, which I think he will be. Yeah. My perfect fight would be Tom Aspinall versus Tai Tuivasa.
So this is going to be a 5-fight main card. So This is where it gets tricky here, because we want to put quality and we want to put as many Brits as we physically can on the card. Yeah. So this one's going to be a tricky one. I am going to go Ian Gary. I know he's fighting Daniel Rodriguez soon.
Yeah.
Very soon. In a main event in May. No, is it May? Yeah, in May. He said afterwards that he wanted to fight, if he finished his Rodriguez, is to fight on 290, which is in July. This is at the back end of July. So should his timeline come to fruition, I would have...
Very ambitious.
He's very ambitious. Like, he's very ambitious. He said he wanted to fight Jorge Masvidal in Dublin main event. That's his dream fight in the next 12 months. That's ambitious as hell, but you got to rate it.
Very ambitious.
You got to rate it. So I'd go Ian Gary versus Michel Pereira. Because if he beats Daniel Rodriguez, he's on the cusp of the top 15. So he beats him. I think he gets that ranking. And the fight against Michel Pereira, money. It's going to be a crowd pleaser. It's going to be a banger.
Okay, so I would go for something different. I'd go Ian Gary still. The two people I'm thinking to throw him in there with is Jack Della Maddalena or Neil Magny.
Oh, the ultimate gatekeeper.
The ultimate gatekeeper.
The ultimate gatekeeper.
Jack Della Maddalena would be it'd be a shootout.
Hey, speaking of Jack Della Maddalena, apparently he had offers to fight 2 top 10 guys recently.
Both turned him down.
One of them was rumored to be Wonder Boy, but Wonder Boy said that he wants to fight at International Fight Week, so that was one of the opponents ruled out.
That's fair.
So I would imagine that Jack Della Maddalena will probably be a little bit further ahead. So I imagine that he'd fight probably someone like a Vicente Luque, who's ranked
That's true.
10. That would be money.
I'd go with Magny then.
That's a heck of a step up. I just hope that it's not a step up too early. But I think for me, like a Michel Pereira one, that just makes sense of his progression because he's only 23, 24, like he's younger than both of us. He's got time on his side. There's no need to rush and strap the rocket on him straight away. So I think a Michel Pereira fight probably makes sense in my eyes. But I could honestly see the UFC going, hey, Neil, you know that you fought another up-and-comer who thought that he was the Billy Big Bollocks? Yeah, I got another one for you. Gonna fight him in London instead. LOL.
I think that'd be a good fight for a good measuring stick because Neil Magny he doesn't do anything spectacular, but he does everything decent level.
Yeah, he's like a solid 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
solid 7 out of 10. Next one for me, I am gonna put the return of Molly Meatball McCann on the card, and her opponent that I've not actually thought about yet. Actually, I am Miranda Maverick, because those two have been chirping a little bit.
They have.
However, I am wary that Miranda is a heavy wrestler, and after seeing what Erin Blanchfield did to Molly, I'm a little bit wary that I may be chucking her to the wolves. So as you discuss who you think she should fight, I'm going to find a striker just in case.
Could you do Casey O'Neill and Molly?
I mentioned that on the last card that maybe that could be a fight.
Both coming off a loss. Big
potential, especially in Casey. She's the one that's got the hype saying that she could potentially become a title challenger. Like, they're not friends. So, yeah, why
I'm
not?
doing Molly versus Casey.
Damn, Molly versus Casey. That's a decent.
All UK affair there.
All UK affair. I'm going to have a little look to see about the flyweight rankings to see if there's anyone that stands out that isn't. I think, is Molly ranked? Is she ranked number 15?
I don't think she is. I'll double check now. I'm almost certain she's not. No.
No, Molly becomes ranked 26 on the website.
I do Molly and Casey O'Neill.
Okay, I'll go with. No, scrap that. I'm going to go with another Brit. I'm going Jojo Wood.
And Molly.
Yeah, she's coming off a win against the same person that Molly KO'd with a spinning back elbow at the first UFC London event.
That's a shout.
So, whew,
That's a shout.
not a
I
wrestler.
like that.
Brit on Brit.
I
Pause.
like that. Pause. I
And
like
then,
that.
for me, opening the main card should have been on the card, the last one, but someone got injured. Running that back, Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood, cooking on social media. Get that to open the main card.
All right. So I would have done that as the prelim main event. And the reason I say that, Dominic Reyes versus Paul Craig.
Oh, I forgot about Paul Craig.
Paul Craig.
Oh, I think you might have got the better card. Oh, my days.
Lerone Murphy and Woods, they shut out the prelims. I think that's the perfect way to shut out the prelims. I would have had Makayev on this, but he ain't going to be ready for July 22nd.
He said he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
His knee bent in the wrong way. How is he only out for 6 to 8 weeks?
This guy's just built different.
I'm actually scared for Makayev that he's going to push himself too hard and get a really bad injury because he needs shoulder surgery as we speak. That's not 6 to 8 weeks, that knee. Can't be.
6 to 8 months more like.
Yeah, like 6 to 8 weeks, that what brings us to, that's 2 months. That brings us to May. If let's say the recovery is 6 to 8 weeks, he pushes for that London card because he'll have another 8 weeks to get ready for a fight.
You know what? You might have just saved my card, you know.
You're going to go Makayev now, aren't you?
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
You just left the door open. I'm going, yeah. So the thing is, he's in a very tough position because everyone is ducking. Everybody. The top ranked guys are ducking him at the moment. Because Matt Schnell was booked with David Dobrik, which are 2 ranked guys above him. So I
would try and push for Matt Schnell.
I think the Matt Schnell one's booked for June.
Is Matt Schnell booked for June?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Alex Perez then?
I was thinking Manu Cape.
If he wants to, when he wants to be the youngest UFC champion, doesn't he?
Yes, so he wants to fight. It said around UFC 290. Title eliminator in Abu Dhabi. And fight for the belt in March.
So, all right, let's say he gets.
I'm going to go Manu Cape because he's ranked number 10.
So then that means his next fight would have to be a top. It'd have to be a top 5 there.
I need to see the top 5 at the moment because
top 5 is Nicolau, Brandon Royval, Kai Kara France, Pantoja. I don't know why Davidson Figueiredo is still in the division, only because he probably hasn't fought 35 yet. But so you could effectively move everyone up a ranking. So he's 11. Manuel Cape is currently 9, but would be 8th if Figueiredo wasn't in the division. So if he fights and beats Cape,
yeah,
that'll probably move him to 7th in the division. And then let's say he can beat a Kyra France or Pantoja, then he gets the title shot. I don't know if he gets the fights though.
The thing is, the way I see it, I think they're going to run back. So I think for the flyweight title picture, be Moreno versus Pantoja 3.
Yeah.
I think Kai Kara France is fighting Brandon Royval.
Is that confirmed?
I need to have a look, but I think I saw Kaya France fight news. So let's say that he's fighting him or Nicolau. Alex Perez, if you fight him, your fight's practically cancelled because his curse is ungodly.
Yeah.
So you don't want to fight him.
Yeah.
Amir Albalzi. I don't know where he fits in.
Yeah.
But I think Manu Cape, personally, he was due to fight Alex Perez.
That'd be a good fight.
and that jumps him up into the top 10. Then afterwards, you're thinking one more to get to the title eliminator.
Yeah.
He's cutting it fine. I think you'll just miss out.
So do I, which is a real shame. But everything aligned for Jones. Obviously, Jones is super talented, but everything aligned for Jones. The only person I think who could do it is Raul Rojas Jr.
That's only because he was 8. It's only
He
because
started so young.
So because he started so young, and he's got a brother that's even younger than him. That's even better than him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I'll probably, I will skip out Makayev because I think it's going to be unrealistic to include him on this card because I don't think it'll be 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm going to keep it fair. I'm going to keep to my Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood to open the card. So let's start from the top, Callum. Your card from main event to opener.
So my card is Edward versus Colby / Masvidal. Aspinall versus Tuivasa. Ian Gay versus Neil Magny. Molly versus Casey O'Neill, and Paul Craig versus Dominic Reyes.
So, let us know which one you think is better. Just say Callum for Callum's and say my name for mine for my one. So, my main event is Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington or Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah.
My co-main is Tom Aspinall versus Marvin Tabora.
Mm.
My next fight is Ian Gary versus Michelle Pereira. Then I have Molly McCann versus Jojo Wood. And then my opener is Lerone Murphy versus Nathaniel Wood. So
I like both cards. I really do like both cards.
And guess what? They'll all be on at a decent time and we won't have
to yeah.
Unless Leon Edwards is fine, then we'll
Yeah, we will.
But we
will have to pay.
So everyone, let us know who you think had the better card, and let us know if you thought of a better fight card for UFC London. And if you do, let us know in the comments below. But Callum, a massive thank you for joining us.
Pleasure's always mine, bro.
And for more great MMA content, make sure to check out the Sanderson Show, as we are creeping to 1,000 subscribers. We're getting there slowly. Getting there slowly. Callum, let the people know what's coming up on the channel.
Well, we'll have the watch along for Izzy Pereira 2. May even do a preview, may even do another video just around the card as well. We're doing a preview on your channel as well, bro. So yeah, next couple of weeks we'll be quite busy and it should be fun. Obviously, everyone knows I'm a big Izzy fan, so I don't know how my nerves are going to hold out for that main event, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Look, the fights are coming thick and fast. They're entertaining. Long may this continue, man.
Yeah, and I know it's a break off the UFC next week, but they're only doing that to get us recharged.
Yeah, it's recharged.
Recharged, ready for the events that we've got coming afterwards is just as stacked.
Facts.
Just as stacked. So make sure to tune into our watch along next week on the Sanderson Show and check out Callum's channel for more great content. And I should have a couple more videos coming out, preview for UFC. Maybe I may do a video about the card coming up. So make sure you tune in for that one. So make sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe button. And we'll see you all very soon.
Let's go.
Let's go.